All right, 6:30, welcome in. June the 4th for another safety focus of the week. This week's code of conduct is to maintain cleanliness and condition of vehicles and of our equipment. So it's a good reminder to swing by the tool crib, grab some paper towels and armor all, and swing by the vac and back up all your trash, all of your pickups, and all the heavy equipment out there. 11 days without a recordable injury, so keep up the good work. This week we did have a hand laceration, so again, hand safety and pinch points, and also wearing gloves around sharp objects. So this week we wanted just to quickly highlight silica awareness and best practices. Again, crystalline silica is a known cancer-causing exposure, chronic exposure, really, 20, 30 years of constant dust, stone dust, granite dust. It's based out of a quartz product. So it's definitely around what we do with in and out of concrete and a lot of the stone work that we do from each and every day here at ECI. So it's a good one to really highlight. It's an emphasis program with VOSHA to really try to reduce dust. Anytime we're cutting, grinding, any asphalt, any concrete, we want to really make sure we're really using these two best practices, and that is the integrated water system for all of our circular saws, and then we also have the Hilti dustless collection system that's available in the tool crib as well. And that's more for kind of hilting, drilling in dowels, and a system that really it's a vacuum, so you have more cords to deal with, but it's a nice system that really just the plume of dust gets captured by the shrouds and it puts into the HEPA system with the vac. So they're the two most important ways that we can control dust on our project is water or a vacuum. So anytime you're doing those two tasks, let's try to plan ahead, get the right tool for the job to try to maintain that silica dust. If we're using these systems, we don't need to wear a half-face respirator. If we do determine that we're having a hard time controlling the dust and we have a lot of visible dust, let's grab the N95s, throw them on. But what we really need to do as well is look in to see exactly how much dust we have and doing a little bit of testing. So we have 2 of these personal air monitors now. We're all set up to do our own in-house personal sampling for silica dust. We're actually going to be doing some testing next week down in Sharon as we're doing a lot of bridge deck demolition with chipping hammers. So we're trying to see what our exposure is so we can have the proper controls in place, because it's hard to kind of keep the dust down jackhammering. So with that said, if you have situations on your job site that you having a hard time controlling the dust, call health and safety. We'll come out and do some personal sampling so we can have some really good data to see if we're within the standard of 50 micrograms per meter cubed over an 8-hour day. If we're over that threshold, we are violating the OSHA silica standard. So anytime we can't use the vac or water, please call health and safety so we can do some monitoring and put a best practice or figure out some other engineering controls, or if we have to use elevated PP such as a PAPR or a half-face respirator. So with that said, that's all I have. Any questions on silica, please call health and safety. Again, it's a big emphasis for VOSHA out there on their periodically and random inspections. So if they see clouds of dust, they're been told to stop and take a look and see how employers are treating silica as a hazard on their projects. So call health and safety and we can help you through any silica potential exposures. So with that said, I'll pass it over to Ken for the next part this morning's presentation.
Thanks, Matt. Good information. Okay, so I have control now?
You do.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the email up. Do you see my screen with the email?
Not yet.
Not yet. I have it on my screen. I didn't have a message saying accept control.
Okay, let me try again. Your name is gone from the roster. Oh, you're up top.
Okay, I see it now.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Now you see my screen?
We do.
Okay, good. So before I start announcements, I'll just restate what Matt and I were talking about earlier. Matt wants to try to transition to a Teams format for this meeting rather than the go-to Teams or go-to meeting, go-to training or meeting, whatever they're obviously both similar from the same company, but we're now on that go-to system, and Matt is looking to transition to the Teams, and a lot of us have already worked on Teams a lot, probably nearly everyone in some capacity over the past year. So we'll be transitioning and watch for a different format for for setting up and entering into it. And for regular announcements, there are some 401k education meetings going on. They've primarily been set up for the new members of the plan, and most of them have signed up, if not everyone. There are a few meeting openings available, and if you are already and not a new member but an existing member, then certainly you can request another time, or there are 3 times available on the 17th if you are interested, but if we can certainly set up more appointments upon request. So we're getting close to the end of the healthcare premium holiday, so everyone knows. And the wellness program, I got the link here. Hopefully more people have been looking to be involved and take advantage of this great benefit for the wellness as a primary care wellness program. We have 3 new employees this week. We have Johannes Elliott, Skylar Sayers, and John Trombley. So welcome, guys. Hopefully you're listening, and I look forward to meeting you, and hopefully our other existing ECI people make you feel welcome and introduce themselves. Please do that. So for weather outlook, we get some extreme summer weather in the forecast coming this weekend. There's thunderstorms, kind of a scary looking icon on the National Weather Service for Saturday night. And then Monday looks like it's going to be brutally hot. So, be aware of yourself and your surroundings, your coworkers, and in this heat conditions, drink plenty of fluid, protect yourself, take plenty of breaks out of the sun. COVID policies are still rapidly changing. No changes officially, but things are just are improving significantly a lot. Obviously, for all kinds of COVID protection measures. Primarily, one of the last remaining things is that if you feel sick, then you still have to follow procedures and check with the safety department and pull yourself out of situations where you'd be exposing your coworkers or the public. So for this week, we are profiling the VTrans Colchester Essex project, which is shared use. It's called Route 15 shared use, or a bike path. So we are contracted with VTrans to construct the new shared use path from Susie Wilson Road in Essex to Lime Kiln Road in Colchester. It's a 10-foot wide, 1.6 mile long project and will provide safer access for cyclists and other users traveling to Burlington and Winooski, primarily back and forth. It's a corridor that's a very busy corridor if you're familiar with it. And the path will also provide convenient access to 40th and Allen and the Fanny Allen Hospital. The project includes pedestrian signal upgrades, pavement markings, sidewalk, minor drainage improvements, and other related work. And this week, the pavement was installed at the Lime Kiln Road and to Merrill Cemetery. So that first segment on the Lime Kiln Road end. This is a rendering from the VTrans project highlight description of their own, showing the completed work someday along the fort. It looks like let's expand this out a little bit if I can. Hopefully you're seeing me expand it out on your screen. So it goes all the way from Lime Kiln Road, which is where the Lime Kiln Road crosses the Winooski River and climbs up to St. Michael's, and then it heads towards Essex on Route 15 and crosses the roadway at the Vermont National Guard Road and continues on the Fort Ethan Allen side all the way to Susie Wilson Road. As you can see, it's typically a 10-foot wide path with shoulders and 2 inches of pavement and a combined 12 inches of space. There's a section that's more further away from the Route 15. This is along the behind, looks like it is anyway, behind the Merrill Cemetery. And a lot of it is right next to Route 15, looking back towards St. Mike's, I guess. Having a meeting out there, it looks like with the inspectors. There was some drilling to cross over the National Guard Road for the new signal, pedestrian signal work. We have a new dozer out on the project, a little 550. Not so little, just squatty, a tough looking little machine. Get a nice picture of it in action here. All set up with GPS controls, machine control. And some more along the Route 15 corridor. And access was not bad, but it involved taking a lane whenever we were loading trucks. There's the guys working on the Essex end. And this is from yesterday, doing some topsoil work near Fanny Allen. There's some completed asphalt work. We got topsoiling remaining in this section. It should look pretty sharp when it's done. And then finally we have this photo. It's behind the cemetery, and I see that this is the statue of Colonel Donald Cook. He was U.S. Marine Corps. It's behind the cemetery along the bike path. And Colonel Cook, who attended St. Mike's, was awarded the Medal of Honor for extraordinary courage as a POW in the Vietnam War, and he died in captivity. So the link here is it was a very impressive story about how he helped his fellow inmates, captive POW guys, and shared food and medicine with them, even despite all the hardship he had for himself. And from the photo archives, I was aboard the USS Donald Cook guided missile destroyer back in 2004. It was part of the Vermont group of employers that went to the trip to the Norfolk Naval Yard, and that was the ESGR trip. The ESGR stands for the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserves. So that group is organized by the the National Guard, and specifically in this case, Vermont National Guard, and employees, employers who have employees in the Guard were given the chance to see what Guard members did when they were doing their duty, especially like a 2-week duty type of thing in the summer, which a Guard person has, that they experience things a little differently. And the idea was that the ESCR gives the employers an idea of what the employees are involved in, and help to support the idea that, you know, the National Guard is a useful, has a useful place even for the employers, and I agree with that. We're proud of our Guard members and we support them fully, and this is pretty impressive what they have and what their responsibilities are out there when they go do their 2-week duty. So this was on board the USS Donald Cook, named after the guy who went to St. Mike's and has a statue out behind the Merrill Cemetery. So look for that when you're out there working. That's what I got, Matt. I'll turn it back over to you, and everyone be careful with the upcoming hot weather, and also, you know, be safe out there.
Yep, thank you, Ken, and thanks for sharing that story about Colonel Cook. It's actually it's a really good read, and it's pretty impressive, and it really kind of recalibrates like how difficult war could be, and how luckily we have it because of individuals like what they did in Vietnam War and in the wars before that. So it's really an impressive story. It's worth the read, and thanks for sharing.
Yep, welcome. All right, catch you later.
Yep, thanks for the 42 or plus that we had. If you watched it with a group setting, please just send me the attendance so I can add it on my end. And please check your emails starting really this afternoon and early next week, because I'm going to be adding pretty much every ECI employee email to a Teams channel, which then we will be broadcasting, hopefully, our future safety meetings on our own Teams channel. It should be pretty easy to jump on Friday safety meetings that way. So keep an eye out in your emails for that. Be safe today, and call health and safety if you have any questions or needs. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
See you later.